Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video. This time it's going to go ahead and be for Mirage Prime. So Mirage Prime is actually probably one of my favorite Warframes. She's a ton of fun to play, and she's focused more on her weapons rather than her skills, because her skills actually use her weapons as well and buff her weapons. Now, we don't really use her number 4 with this build. Number 4 is kind of just whatever. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the build, or the skills first. So the passive, sliding lasts 85% longer, and acrobatic maneuvers are 50% faster. Whatever. I mean, that's that's cool, I guess, but honestly, it doesn't do that much. Next is Hall of Mirrors. This is your bread and butter. This is everything to you. You will be using this at all times. So we want it to last a long time, and we want it to do a lot of damage. So we have a damage increase with one of our mods of 5%, and then the damage itself is 63.8% because of the ability strength we have. The duration is 55 seconds, well, because of the duration we have. And we'll go over that in the mods, what we're using in a moment. Sleight of hand. It's something you won't really use, but you can if you really want to. It's like just a little trap. Basically, a Hall of Mirrors is a bunch of images of yourself that does damage. So that's why we use that. You get you get 4 doppelgangers. Sleight of hand, again, it's just a mine. I guess it's useful because it does provide some CC, but overall, you're not really going to use it. If you wanted to, you could actually switch it to something else with I think it's called the helmet. I haven't yet, but I do plan to at some point. I just don't know what to do with it yet. So if you guys have any ideas for that, let me know. Next is Eclipse. This is a very good ability. Basically, it's a buff. So when you're in the light, you deal more damage. When you're in shadows, you become hard to see and hard to hurt. So it's super good. You basically have damage reduction in shadows and damage increase in light. So it's super good because you're always getting some sort of buff that's going to help you. One survival, one's damage. Keep that up at all times, just like Hall of Mirrors. And then there's Prism. It's okay. It does some damage, and it blinds them. The blind is cool, but honestly, this takes so much energy. The build is not built for this. I think there are builds that do focus on it. However, this build is not for that. So I would keep this one rather than getting rid of it, with the helmet. I would keep this one just because sometimes that AoE CC is good. So keep this one, get rid of Sleight of Hand. I think Sleight of Hand is by far the worst ability on her. So you choose what you want, but that's my suggestion. They cost the same. Prism does more, in my opinion. In my opinion. I mean, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. But let me know what you guys do with the helmet if you decide to. But definitely keep Hall of Mirrors and Eclipse. Those are the bread and butter of this build. You need them. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the build. The mods I use is Corrosive Projection. This is standard on most Warframes at this point. But minus 18% armor. You're literally just reducing armor. Power Drift, 15% ability strength, 30% chance to resist knockdown. Really good. The resist knockdown actually helps a lot, but you are using it primarily for the strength. As you can see, we have 319% strength and 220% duration. Without the 319% strength, our damage for our doppelgangers would not be as high. Our Eclipse damage increase would also not be as high. So we want that to be high. And then duration, we want that to be high as well so that we don't have to keep reapplying Eclipse or Hall of Mirrors as much. It's every 55 seconds instead. Now, right now, I am using Vitality. Please put in another Forma and change this to Umbral Vitality. It is better. It will give you more strength because of the bonus with Umbral Intensify. Basically, form of this out if you can, this polarity, and put in Umbral Vitality. I just have not gotten the chance to change it. I do plan to as soon as possible, but please put in Umbral Vitality. That would make it 4 formas instead of 3, and you might even be able to get away with just not using one of the formas, but I don't think so because it's 15 capacity points. So you have to figure you're going to take out 6. You already have 4. You basically would need to take out that polarity, put that in, but you may not be able to. I haven't even tried. I might have to give that a shot later. Let me know if this works out for you guys, because thinking about it, you might not be able to do that. And if you're not, keep Vitality. It's still good, but Umbral Vitality, if you can fit it, is going to help you more. And then next is Augur Secrets, plus 24% ability strength, 80% energy spent on abilities is converted to shields. The secondary part, we're not worried about. We're not spamming our abilities. This is not that type of build. We are really just worried about the strength. The secondary part is okay. It helps a little bit. It's really not the focus. Then Narrow-Minded, plus 90% ability duration, minus 60% ability range. You do not care about range, simply because you're not using Prism. You're not using the Mine. So, basically, you don't need range for your Hall of Mirrors or your Eclipse. So, you can pretty much ignore it. So, Narrow-Minded is really good for that reason. Next is Umbral Intensify, plus 40% ability strength. I do not have it maxed out. I am actually only at rank 9. So, if you have it at rank 10, even better. But it's really good. Pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, if you can fit Umbral Vitality, fit Umbral Vitality. I'm kind of starting to think that may not be possible unless you have an Umbral Forma. So, if you had to do that, let me know. I'm just kind of curious before I form mine again and waste my time. So, you guys let me know. For now, this build works plenty good without it. So, next is Blind Rage, plus 90% ability strength, minus 50% ability efficiency. We don't care about efficiency because we're not spamming our abilities. Yeah, our abilities are going to cost more to do, but we're not spamming them, so we should almost always have the energy to do them. But the 90% ability strength is super important because you want your Hall of Mirrors and your Eclipse to be better. And then we got Primed Continuity, plus 55% ability duration. Again, it's duration, very important. So make sure you get that duration up. Make sure you have at least continuity. If you don't have Prime Continuity, because not everyone does, at least put in continuity. If you do only use regular continuity, I believe it's only rank 5. Yeah, it's only rank 5. You should be able to put in Umbral Vitality, so that would be the trade-off there. So, up to you. Figure that out. Honestly, you could do that. You absolutely could, and you'd probably be fine. So, that's just my 2 cents on that. You could lose a little bit of duration. It'd be 25% less. But you'd also gain more strength and more health. So, take your pick on that. Next is Transient Fortitude, plus 50% ability strength, minus 25% ability duration. We are hurting our duration a little bit, but we have so much duration, it's okay. We just want the strength. That is our main focus, is the strength. The duration is a secondary thing, and it is very useful. Like I said, we want it up high for Hall of Mirrors and Eclipse. So we keep our duration up high so that we can keep those up, and then we have our strength high so that we do more damage. So overall, the trade-off with Transient Fortitude is good. You would rather have the 50% strength than the extra 25% duration. And then the thing that I find makes this build, well, rounded out, I guess. Hall of Malevolence. It's a Mirage mod. Hall of Mirrors augment. The damage of your doppelgangers is increased by 5% every time you kill an enemy. So, not only do you have a damage of 63.8% on your Hall of Mirrors standard, you now have a 5% damage increase every time you kill an enemy. So your Hall of Mirrors doppelgangers will be doing a ton of damage as long as there are always enemies to be killed. So definitely get that. If you're going to do this build, you have to have this. You could probably get away without having it, but you're not going to be as successful. So I suggest getting this before you make this build. Hall of Malevolence is very important. So I just suggest getting it. Like I said, you could do without it, maybe, but you're not going to be doing as good. So up to you. Now for the Arcanes, I use Arcane Grace and Arcane Guardian. This is just for some survival. You could absolutely, depending on what weapon type you use most, you could use Arcane Precision, Arcane Strike, Arcane Velocity. There's one for the primary. You can use damn near anything you want. Just figure out what works for you. I use the survivability, Grace and Guardian, simply because they increase my my survival. That's where I have the most trouble, is surviving with her. So Arcane Grace and Guardian helps with that. But if you want more damage, absolutely put in Precision, Strike, Velocity, even Blade Charger, or, there's tons of things you can put in. So you guys figure out what works for you on that. But I suggest Grace and Guardian if you're struggling for survival, and then damage if you want more damage. So that's the build, guys. It's a fun build. I'll go ahead and show it off to you real quick. But basically, like I said, we just want to get our Eclipse up. Okay, so now we have our 630% damage increase because we're in light. And then get our Hall of Mirrors out. And then shoot. And everything just melts. Okay, and then let's show off with the sidearms. These are kind of subpar sidearms. I don't know if I have them pretty much done. And they're still doing really good. And then, last but not least, our melee weapon. Let's go ahead and get that out. So that's just lights. We just demolish them with lights. With heavies, I don't know if I'd really use heavies because they take too long. I think using lights is perfectly fine. But you can use heavies if you feel like using heavies. I do think you should just use lights, though, depending on what weapon you're using, of course. But in this case, I'm using the Cronin Prime, and the lights do great. So I hope you guys like this build. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I did do a video like this back in 2020, but I figured it was time to kind of re-release it because it's been, well, about a year. So if you guys like this build, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.